In the chaos of JFK International Airport, where hurried footsteps echoed and overhead announcements crackled, a young woman named Lila clutched her 6-month-old son, Noah, to her chest. Her threadbare coat barely shielded them from the December chill that seeped through the terminal's glass walls. Lila's eyes, heavy with exhaustion, scanned the crowd for a kind face, but travelers rushed past, their gazes fixed on screens or schedules. In her arms, Noah squirmed, his tiny fists grasping at the frayed strap of her backpack, which held everything they owned: a few diapers, a half-empty jar of baby food, and a single bottle of formula, the last of her dwindling supply. Lila had been at the airport for hours, stranded after missing a connecting flight to Chicago. She was heading to a women's shelter, the only place offering her a chance to start over after escaping an abusive relationship. With no money for a new ticket and her phone dead, she felt invisible, a ghost among the bustling crowd. Noah's soft whimpers grew louder, his hunger undeniable. Lila's heart sank as she fumbled with the bottle, her cold fingers trembling. As she bent to adjust Noah's blanket, the bottle slipped from her grasp, clattering onto the polished floor and rolling toward a pair of sleek leather shoes. Ethan Caldwell, CEO of Caldwell Enterprises, stood a few feet away, his tailored suit and sharp jawline cutting an imposing figure. At 38, he was used to commanding boardrooms, not navigating the chaos of a delayed flight. His phone buzzed with emails from investors, but his attention snapped to the bottle at his feet. He glanced up, meeting Lila's panicked eyes. She froze, her breath catching as Noah's whimpers turned into a piercing cry, echoing through the terminal. People turned to stare, some with pity, others with annoyance. Ethan knelt, picking up the bottle. He noticed its cracked cap and the faint residue of formula inside, barely enough for a feeding. Lila rushed forward, her cheeks flushed with embarrassment. "I'm so sorry," she stammered, reaching for the bottle. "He's just hungry, and It's okay," Ethan said, his voice softer than he intended. He handed her the bottle, but Noah's cries grew louder, his tiny face red with distress. Ethan's instinct kicked in, honed from years of problem-solving. "Is he all right? Do you need help?" Lila hesitated, her pride warring with desperation. She wasn't used to kindness from strangers, especially not from someone like him, someone who looked like he belonged in a penthouse, not her world of second-hand clothes and empty wallets. But Noah's cries were a knife to her heart. I don't have any more formula," she admitted, her voice barely audible. "I can't afford it until I get to Chicago." Ethan's jaw tightened. He wasn't a sentimental man. His life was data, deals, and deadlines. Yet something about Lila's raw vulnerability, the way she shielded Noah despite her own fear, stirred a memory of his late sister, who'd raised her daughter alone before cancer took her. He glanced at his watch, then at the airport shops lining the terminal. "Wait here," he said, striding toward a convenience store before Lila could protest. Minutes later, he returned with a bag containing formula, diapers, and a warm blanket. Lila blinked, stunned, as he handed it to her. "You didn't have to," she started, but her voice cracked. Noah's cries softened as she prepared a bottle, her hands shaking with gratitude. Ethan watched, feeling an unfamiliar warmth in his chest. He wasn't used to this, helping without expecting something in return. His world was transactional, but this felt different. "Why are you doing this?" Lila asked, cradling Noah as he drank hungrily. Her eyes searched Ethan's, wary but curious. Ethan shrugged, almost uncomfortable with his own answer. "Because I could." It wasn't the whole truth. He saw his sister in Lila's struggle, and for the first time in years, he wanted to be more than the man who signed checks and shook hands. Their conversation was interrupted by an announcement. Ethan's flight to London was boarding. He hesitated, then pulled a business card from his wallet. "If you're ever in New York again, call me. I can connect you with people who can help." He paused, then added, "And there's a ticket to Chicago waiting for you at the counter. No strings attached." Lila's eyes welled up, but she held back tears. "I don't know how to thank you," she whispered. "You don't have to," Ethan said, echoing her earlier words. He turned to leave, but Lila's voice stopped him. "What's your name?" she asked. "Ethan," he replied, offering a small smile before disappearing into the crowd. At the gate, Ethan's phone buzzed again, but he ignored it. For the first time in years, he felt lighter, as if he'd left something heavy behind. Lila, meanwhile, boarded her flight to Chicago, Noah asleep in her arms. She tucked Ethan's card into her pocket, a small reminder that kindness could exist in the most unexpected places. Months later, Lila stood in a small Chicago apartment, a job at a community center giving her hope for a new life. She never called Ethan, she wanted to stand on her own. But she kept his card, a symbol of the moment a stranger saw her when she felt invisible. Ethan, back in New York, found himself rethinking his priorities. He started a foundation for single mothers, inspired by a crying baby and a dropped bottle. Neither knew the other's story, but in that fleeting airport encounter, they'd changed each other's lives, proving that even in a world of chaos, a single act of humanity could ripple far beyond the moment.